So welcome everyone. Thank you so much for this opportunity, Megan. My grant that we're working on here is called the Strategic Conservation Management Planning for the Matagorda Bay Estuary System, Assessing Community and Stakeholder Attitudes. That I think probably went over this 20 seconds for this slide, so I guess I'd better move on. There's a team of us working on this. This is our primary member. This is Bill Balboa. He is currently the executive director of the Matagorda Bay Foundation and a UHCL Environmental Management MS student. And so part of this is his master's thesis. Bill is a fisheries biologist, a boat captain, native son of Matagorda Coast, and he's an incredible individual who's known these people in this area for his whole life. Our team also includes, as on the last team, Dr. Mark Mokresh. Mark is a senior research scientist at the Environmental Institute of Houston. He's also a GIS specialist, and he's a drone pilot extraordinaire. And so we'll be losing his work in the later part of this project. Finally, there's me. I am the senior lecturer in environmental management. I work in coastal resilience research here at the university, and that's why I'm working with Bill on his thesis. So many of you may not even know where Matagorda Bay is. Matagorda Bay is located between Houston here and Corpus Christi, so kind of it's the central Texas Gulf Coast. And one of the reasons that this project is important is because other bays, and if I go back for 1 second, like Galveston Bay here, like Corpus Christi here, have advocacy organizations that have created management plans for them, organized volunteer efforts, and have people who love them. Matagorda Bay has been called the Lost Coast of Texas because until recently it didn't have that. But now it does. It has the Matagorda Bay Foundation, which is indeed an advocacy organization modeled after the others. It is established to conserve and support Matagorda Bay and its users, and you can see on the right a planning map of all the different projects, some of which are complete, some of which are in progress, and some of which are on the drawing board for the Matagorda Bay being done through the foundation. So one of the main purposes of the foundation is to create a strategic conservation plan, and in order to do that, we need to engage the stakeholders who work in this and live in this region. And so we've already identified local stakeholders, businesses, residents, and visitors, and we will be inviting them to participate in developing the plan through this particular project. We're going to be doing qualitative research to do this. We're going to, first of all, use an in-person written survey that we will apply to people during a meeting. And here's a sample question. On a scale of 1 to 5, do you believe it is safe to eat seafood or game species harvested from the Matagorda Bay ecosystem? So those are the kinds of questions we will have in our survey. We're also planning to do focus groups of Bay users. And these different focus groups have been identified as Matagorda Bay Foundation has been meeting with people. But there's a broad range of users we want to connect with. For example, this is the shrimp fleet out of Palacios. We want to connect with our commercial fishermen. Recreational fishing guides and charters are a very important source of income and users of the bay. And so they're another group of users that we definitely need to connect with in focus groups. Built up around beach and bay users is a whole tourism industry. So for example, we have lodging, we have restaurants, we have shops, all of which need to be participants. And then we have people who are actually using the water. So yes, Margaret, there actually is surfing in Texas. This photograph is taken in Surfside, Texas, which is in Matagorda County and on just offshore of Matagorda Bay. So we have beach users. We have beach goers, of course, people who want to come and use the beach. And this is a photograph of the beach facilities at Matagorda Beach. And then finally, we have birders. And this area is a very, very popular birding area on the Texas coast. The 6th annual Matagorda Bay Bird Fest, which I show you a connection for here, is actually next year, or actually in 2023. So it's very popular. And despite COVID, these kinds of efforts are again moving forward. So our focus groups, we've developed a questionnaire for them. And so here's an example question of what those questions might be. For example, are there any recent restoration or conservation projects in Matagorda Bay that you think have improved your fishing success? And if there are, what kind of project was it, and can you locate it on a map, which we'll have in the room? In terms of current status of the project, these questions are under review by the Committee for the Protection of Human Subjects. Our next steps are to schedule our focus group meetings. They will be half day, and we may have individual groups of users, or we may actually combine some that have related interests. We will collect data using flip charts, map exercises, and written surveys. In some cases, we will be scheduling one-on-one interviews with some participants to follow up on things they've told us. We will be recording all those meetings and interviews. We'll be using qualitative analysis methods for data analysis. The grant has enabled us to purchase in vivo software that we can use for processing data. We'll be using other types of qualitative analysis tools, keyword searches, and we'll also be simply extracting knowledge from people's comments and participation. Because what we want to do here is extract traditional knowledge and user attitudes and user information, both from the focus group responses and from our individual interviews. Following collection of this qualitative data, we're also going to be collecting spatial data. Mark and Bill will be working with Mark's drone fleet to determine what kind of geospatial data is appropriate to incorporate into this project, identifying the instrumentation that needs to be there, and then they will be creating the flight plans, and they're going to go fly a drone. So we'll have a combination of both stakeholder and geospatial data to help us inform development of that strategic conservation plan. We are so grateful to IHAPS for the grant, for all of the support. It really makes a huge difference to know that somebody cares about what we are doing. So we appreciate so much what you've done for us. Thank you.